Yo, what is up, YouTube? It's your boy Legend, and I am back with another video and part 3, well, day 3 of me uploading while being in the hospital. Yeah, you already know what this is just by looking at the thumbnail. What if Naruto was the strongest Soul Reaper? If you guys like the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe while you're at it. Like goal for this video is going to be 5 likes as per usual, but without further ado, let's just get into this intro so we can start this what if.
挽回
Night has settled quietly over the living world, the stars faintly shimmering beyond the window pane of a modest suburban house. Inside, Ichigo Kurosaki lay on his bed, the faint glow of a desk lamp casting soft shadows over the cluttered room. His eyes were shut tight, but inside turmoil churned, because he knew something was there, or someone. Slow, deliberate footsteps echoed from the doorway, barely making a sound. A slender figure drifted across the threshold, moving like a ghost through the room. Her dark hair framed her face, her expression unreadable. She walked as though Ichigo were blind to her presence, her gaze avoiding his. Yet Ichigo's eyes snapped open, confused and frustrated. "Hey, can you see me?" Ichigo's voice was sharp, piercing the silence. The figure, Rukia, did not respond. She drifted closer, almost as if she were fading, slipping between reality and something else. Ichigo sat up, trying again. "Hey, I'm talking to you. Stop ignoring me." Her gaze remained fixed ahead, as if he were invisible. His patience snapped. Without warning, Ichigo launched a drop kick that sent the figure crashing into the far wall with a heavy thud. Rukia blinked, stunned, then slowly looked up at him with wide eyes. You can see me?" she asked, her voice laced with disbelief. Ichigo stared at her as if she had just asked the dumbest question in the world. "Yeah, of course I can see you. What, did you think I was crazy or something?" Rukia hesitated, then spoke carefully. "You shouldn't be able to see me, not like this. That's because you and your family have to leave. There's a hollow nearby. It's very dangerous." Ichigo frowned, unfamiliar with the word. Hollow? What the hell is that? Before Rukia could answer, an unearthly screech tore through the air outside, a sound full of malice and hunger. The house trembled, and suddenly a massive, grotesque creature crashed through the wall of Ichigo's room with a violent crash. Shards of plaster and wood flying everywhere. Ichigo froze, eyes wide, terror rooting him into the spot. But Rukia acted fast, springing forward to shield him. The hollow, monstrous and towering, paid no attention to Rukia's defense. With a brutal swipe of its clawed hand, it slammed Ichigo against the wall, knocking the breath from his lungs and sending him sliding down the rubble-strewn surface. Rukia's Zanpakuto flew from her grip, skittering across the floor. The hollow's eyes gleamed as it turned, seizing Ichigo's younger sister, Karin, who had been caught in the chaos, holding her tightly in one massive hand. "No!" Ichigo shouted, panic flaring through his veins. Summoning every ounce of courage, he lunged forward, throwing a desperate punch with his free hand, aimed at the hollow's face. The blow landed, but barely phased the creature. With a terrifying ease, the hollow slapped Ichigo away again, sending him sprawling. Karin whispered in its grip, her eyes wide with fear. Rukia scrambled to retrieve her Zanpakuto, sliding it into her hand with practiced speed. She surged forward, slashing at the hollow's grotesque mass, hoping to break its hold and protect the siblings. But the creature lashed out with its barbed tail, forcing her to block the strike with all of her strength. Ichigo, stay back! Rukia warned, chanting rapidly under her breath. A vibrant green glow surrounded her hands as she launched a series of Keto spells meant to blind the hollow, but the dark beast shrugged off the restraints effortlessly. With the savage roar, the hollow grabbed Rukia and hurled her against the exterior wall of the house. The impact of cracking bricks and scattering debris, she collapsed, winded and hurt, unable to rise. Pain flashed across her face, but determination burned brighter. Gritting her teeth, Rukia had to make a desperate decision. She drew her Zanpakuto and had an exchange with Ichigo as a faint blue aura began to emanate from the blade as she plunged it into Ichigo's chest. A surge of energy exploded between them, a transfer of power unlike anything she'd expected. Ichigo's body convulsed as spiritual pressure erupted from within him, engulfing him in a swirling black and white Shihakusho that replaced his ordinary clothes. Sandals appeared on his feet, and his hand, he now wielded an immense Zanpakuto resembling a massive butcher knife, heavy and commanding. Rukia gasped, eyes wide with shock. You have so much, she whispered. I didn't realize. Unconscious in the hollow's grip, Karin's pale face flickered with fading hope. Ichigo's eyes burned bright, his new power flooding through him with overwhelming clarity. Without hesitation, he stepped forward, the aura of Zangetsu, the name, whispered in his soul, cloaking him in a fierce light. With one swift, devastating strike, the giant blade sliced clean through the hollow's mass. The beast collapsed lifeless as the energy dissipated, and the night grew still once more. Meanwhile, in the far reaches of Soul Society, a scream shattered the calm of the night. Momo Hinamori's anguished cry echoed through the halls of Soul Society. Her eyes locked on a horrifying sight. Captain Aizen, pinned high against a stone wall, his own Zanpakuto driven through him. Blood seeped from his mouth as he hung suspended, some 20 feet high above the ground. The scream drew a crowd. Instantly, Naruto, Byakuya Kuchiki, Jin Ichimaru, Unohana, Soifan, and even the venerable Yamato himself rushed to the scene. Yet among them, Naruto's eyes narrowed with a calm suspicion alongside Unohana, Byakuya, and Soifan. He had already broken through the illusion cast by Kyoka Sugetsu, the hypnotic Zanpakuto that masks the grim reality from most. To the masses, it appeared as though Aizen was truly impaled, dead. To the four who saw through the illusion, the scene was nothing more than a carefully crafted mirage. No words were spoken as the crowd murmured in panic, attempting to determine how and who could have done such a thing. Naruto turned to Unohana, then to Soifan and Byakuya, and with a faint sigh, motioned for a smaller, secret gathering. We need to talk. Now, Naruto said quietly. The group, Unohana, Soifan, Byakuya, and soon Toshiro Hitsugaya, who had been nearby and close to Momo, gathered in the dim barracks of Squad 2. Naruto drew his Zanpakuto, Kurama, a sleek blade just 2 feet long. One by one, he asked them to touch it, to ensure no illusion were placed upon them again. When Toshiro laid his fingers onto the hilt, he froze momentarily, his eyes widening as the deceptive veil lifted from him. Naruto's gaze swept the room, breaking the heavy silence. So, does anyone know why Aizen would do something like this? Unohana shook her head, her smile tinged with melancholy. No, none of us know. All we have are guesses, but guesses won't help us. Aizen's motives have always been wrapped in shadows. Soifon, Naruto prompted. What about acting? Can we investigate freely? She folded her arms, her voice low. We can't. If we're too obvious, it will give him the advantage. He could be watching us, even now. Naruto furrowed his brow in confusion. Unohana chuckled softly, placing a hand on his shoulder. Oh, poor baby. We don't even know where Aizen is. He could be here, observing us as we speak. But for now, we must pretend he is dead. Keep a low profile and hope he reveals his hand. Naruto nodded, slowly, absorbing the weight of her words. To all appearances, the Soul Society was on the edge of chaos, but beneath the surface, a quieter war was already beginning. Night still hung heavy over the Soul Society, moonlight barely touching the tall walls, separating the affluent districts from the forgotten ones. The air in the noble sector was crisp and quiet until Sosuke Aizen emerged from the shadows, his gloved hands streaked with blood. With calm, precise movements, he slipped each glove from his fingertips, letting them fall to the stone path beneath his feet. The bloodied fabric landed with a whisper of finality. He walked with elegance, yet there was a sharpened edge to his steps. A predator's stride. The cold clarity in his eyes didn't waver as he moved through the district, leaving behind the pristine streets of the upper class and stepping into the worn alleys and dimly lit corners of the lower districts. Once he reached a desolate clearing on the outer edge of Rukungai, Aizen raised a single hand. He chanted in a low, unfaltering voice, each syllable of the advanced Keto spell resonating with ancient power. As his hand cut through the air, a rippling terror formed in space itself. A false garganta mimicked flawlessly. Without hesitation, Aizen stepped through, vanishing into the black void between worlds. Flashback. 15 minutes ago. The sterile corridor leading to the central underground assembly hall was eerily silent. The only sounds echoing off the polished stone were the calm footsteps of Captain Aizen and the silent presence of Captain Tosin. The blind captain walked with uncanny precision, never once faltering as he matched Aizen step for step. As they reached the towering double doors of the assembly hall, Aizen pressed one hand against the heavy wood, gently pushing it open. Tosin mirrored the action. Inside, the grand council chamber, lit with glowing orbs, was filled with members of the Central 46, nobles and officials clad in rich robes, seated behind latticed screens. All eyes turned toward them, murmurs of confusion already starting. Captain Aizen? Captain Tosin? What is the meaning of this? There are no scheduled political discussions today, one elder questioned sharply. Aizen stepped forward. Tosin followed. Then, in a burst of movement, too fast for mortal eyes, both vanished in a flash step. The confusion turned to panic. Screams erupted as blood splashed across the screens. Limbs flew, torsos split, and the ornate marble floor was soon covered in crimson. Aizen's blade cut with practiced grace, ending lives with casual ease. Tosin moved with silent brutality, each step guided by acute senses, his blade flashing in elegant arcs. Within seconds, the once revered Central 46 was no more, but one remained. A trembling hand gripped the edge of a pew beneath the farthest screen. Heavy, panicked breaths echoed under the wood. Tosin turned, head tilting slightly. Hado number 54. Hain. A flash of purple light lit the room, and the last survivor was obliterated. Ash scattered across the bloodied chamber. Silence reigned. Back to the present in Hueco Mundo. The vast white expanse of Hueco Mundo welcomed Aizen like a crownless king returning home. Sand drifted in lazy swirls, and the pale moon above shone with a sickly silver glow. Ahead stood Las Noches, his imposing fortress, a monstrous palace forged in the void between dimensions. He strode through its towering gates and into the central hall, his footsteps echoing. Still dressed in his Captain Shihakusho, glasses perched upon his nose, Aizen took his throne at the highest point of the chamber. Calmly, he folded one leg over the other, his hand resting lightly on the hilt of his zanpakuto. Now, he murmured with a smile, the true game begins. Scene change. Soul Society. Naruto's home. The night had deepened in the Soul Society, casting silver shadows over the tiled roofs of the winding paths. Naruto, clad in his Soul Reaper uniform, made his way toward his modest residence, the heavy weight of the day still lingering in his chest, the false death of Aizen, the political unrest, and the deepening suspicion in the air left his spirit restless. Naruto? He turned, blinking in mild surprise. Standing in the moonlight garden, just beyond a low gate was Retsu Unohana, the graceful and enigmatic captain of Squad 4. In each hand, she held a watering can, the gentle clinking of metal against metal, almost melodic in the quiet. She smiled warmly. Care to join me? Naruto chuckled, already stepping through the gate. Only if you promise not to scold me for drowning your plants. She handed him one of the cans. Then behave. The two began watering the lush garden, a mix of medical herbs, vibrant flowers, and rare soul realm flora. Yet, their attention drifted more to each other than to the plants. They moved close, often brushing hands. When Naruto leaned near to adjust the nozzle on her can, their faces almost touched. Her breath was soft and sweet, brushing against his skin like the petals they tended to. You know, Unohana said with a playful glint in her eye, you play a dangerous game teasing me like this, especially when you know exactly how bad I want you. Naruto leaned in slightly, his fingers brushing her waist, just enough to make her body hum in response. I don't play games, Retsu. Unless, of course, it's a game where we both want to lose. She turned toward him slowly, their lips almost touching. The tension between them was a palpable thread, stretched thin and trembling. They moved from plant to plant, but their focus never wavered from one another. Every soft touch, every double meaning whisper was a spark in a powder keg. Then Naruto, smirking, tilted his watering can slightly and let a small splash of water land atop Unohana's head. Her eyes widened. Oops, he said, grinning. Water dripped down her raven black hair, trailing along her cheeks and down her neck. Her thin, white gown clung to her curves, becoming nearly transparent as it stuck to her skin. Naruto stared, utterly entranced, as she wrung her hair out and tilted her head slightly, droplets gliding into the valley of her breasts. That was the breaking point. Naruto dropped the can. In 2 strides, he was on her, pushing her gently up, but firmly, against the wall of the garden above. Her wrists were pinned above her head, his mouth crashing onto hers in a kiss fueled by days of unspoken desire. Unohana responded instantly, moaning softly as she arched into him, lips parting as their tongues met, dancing and exploring. Her legs wrapped around his waist, her arms locking around his neck as he lifted her effortlessly. Their bodies pressed together as he kissed down her neck, nipping and licking, leaving small bruises and hickeys in his wake. Unohana gasped softly, her fingers tightening in his hair. Naruto, you're making it hard to stop. He rested his forehead against hers, both of them panting. Retsu, it's obvious, but I just don't know how to say it. So, I'll say what's in my head, he said, his voice trembling with emotion. I've never felt this crazy for someone before, even when I was alive. You have this hold on me. It drives me insane how much I want you. No other woman has ever gotten me to this point. I want to be with you until my very last breath. Please, Retsu, I need an answer. I love you. Can we stop all the bullshit games and just be exclusive as boyfriend and girlfriend, or hell, maybe even husband and wife, if that's what it takes? Unohana stared at him, tears filling her eyes. Then she grabbed his face and kissed him hard. The kind of kiss that shattered doubt and built something new in its place. Their mouths moved together for 10 seconds, lasting, claiming, tasting, and promising. Yes, you idiot. Yes, she whispered against his lips. I wanted you to act sooner, but I'm so glad you did. They kissed again, slower this time, more deliberate, savoring the moment they had finally allowed themselves to have. Their lips parted, only to whisper promises, their fingers interlacing like roots, finally grown deep into the earth they shared. Beneath the moonlight and surrounded by flowers, they stood entangled in each other's embrace. No longer just allies in war, but partners in heart. But guys, I'm going to end it off right here. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe while you're at it. Remember, the like goal for this video is going to be 5 likes. So hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. But without further ado, I am out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay blessed, y'all.